Good morning, class 12. As you've already copied yesterday, the causes of the Cold War. Today, a little explanation over it. So, if you look at the main reason for your Cold War is the battle of ideologies. Ideologies meaning principles, okay, and principles that two country believed in. If you see United States believed in your democracy, okay, and whereas your USSR believed in as a communist, function as a communist country. Okay, so we had already seen the formation of Union of Soviet Socialist Republic (USSR). Okay, at the time when Lenin formed your had the Bolshevik revolution done in 1919. So what is the Cold War, as we see, it is a geopolitical situation. Okay, it's a geopolitical situation between two superpowers, and superpowers over here is USSR and USA, that had come up after your Second World War 1945, the two superpowers. Okay, so that is the geopolitical tension. So over there, it's a term, the Cold War, here because they did not use any kind of armaments, okay, and they did not fight over any territories, but it is simply the war of ideologies, okay, and the mutual distrust between the two countries. So a term is used to describe the relationship between America and the Soviet Union, 1945 to 1980. Neither side ever fought the other, as I already said. The consequences will be too appalling, but they did fight for the beliefs, as I said, the ideologies, the principles, communist, okay, and capitalism, using other states, so that they fought proxy wars, using other states meaning proxy wars, okay, where USSR tried to, spread your communism over all part of Eastern Europe, because if you see, after World War II, okay, Russia had already taken over Poland, okay, over Poland, and therefore wanted to take over all the parts of Eastern, and wanted to spread communism, in fact, over all parts of Eastern Europe. And of course, later on, it was called as your it was called as your the Eastern Europe, they were known as your Eastern countries. Okay, so they were divided into two zones, Eastern and Western. So that is how USSR tries to spread communism, and USA tried to stop your communism. Okay, so, and that's how it gets involved in the proxy war in Vietnam War. Then you have the Korean War in Afghanistan. So that is, that's what how the Cold War involves the two countries. Now, the Cold War, you can see, this is a conference that was held in Yalta, okay, in Crimea in 1945. That is, this is once when you see in the Second World War, okay, all these three countries, okay, USA, USSR, and Britain, okay, they were the allies. So this is the wartime allies, the last time, because after 1945, you can see two superpower emerging, okay. So you have your two superpowers, okay, that is your US and USSR. So this was the last time they met together. That was the Yalta Conference 1945 in February in Crimea, okay, that's in Russia. So the three people, you can see, they're not the big three, the Churchill, Roosevelt, and Stalin, okay, at February 1945. And they decided here, what was decided? To form an international organization, UNO. Okay, it was resolved to make Germany free from Nazi influence, and Germany would be divided into four zones. Okay, so they wanted to, have the fate of decide the fate of Germany. Okay, then similar arrangements were also made for Austria. Okay, all those losing countries, all those victims of your World War II, okay, who lost, right? Then liberal reforms would be introduced in Germany, and Nazi war criminals have to be punished. Germany had to pay war reparations, and free elections to be done in Eastern Europe. Okay, and of course the fate of Poland, because Poland, had the Danzig port and all that already been occupied by which country? That is Russia. Okay, so that is what they met in the Yalta conference. Okay, so that is called as the wartime allies, and the last time they're meeting. Okay, now basically, as I already said, they were fighting over your what? They were fighting over your economic policies. So if you see Adam Smith, okay, the father of capitalism, okay, in America, and Karl Marx and Frederick Engels, okay, his associate, who had the written of your Communist Manifesto. Okay, Karl Marx, socialism and communism. Okay, so that's Karl Marx theory, okay, based on, and they followed, and Adam Smith, capitalism. So what is communism? As I said, communism based on the 1848 publication, that is Communist Manifesto, by two German political philosophers, that is Karl Marx, okay, and his close associate Frederick Engels. Okay, so what is communism? Okay, peace, bread and land, as I said. And what is it? That was the equal division of your resources, okay, among the people. That means all the resources are owned by the country, okay, and not private enterprise enterprises, whereas capitalism enforces private enterprises. Okay, and so you have the division of the society. Okay, so in socialism we have a classless society. Sorry, communism and socialism, we have a classless society, whereas capitalism, we have the society divided into the rich and the very poor. Okay, so you have here what is your communism. Okay, what is said, Communist Manifesto, you can read for that. And capitalism also. Okay, so you just have to know that the difference is an ideology, that is your capitalism, meaning giving emphasis on private enterprises, and we have the very bad division of society, that is have and the have not, so that rich are getting richer, poor and the poorer. Whereas in communism, okay, of course it did practically, communism also did not work, and we can see that today only the country that is functioning as communist country is China. Okay, and you can see how bad the condition of China is, and USSR could not function after 1991 as a communist country because it led to the disintegration of the 17 independent states. Okay, so then now, why were these two superpowers so distrustful of the one another? Of America, you see free elections, that is democracy, as we said. Okay, because America was known as your arsenal of democracy, democratic. They have capitalistic economy. Okay, whereas survival of the fittest, that means, so that means the rich getting richer, poor getting the poorer. Okay, and they had personal freedom, media, everything. Whereas your USSR, of course, had the autocratic dictatorship, communist, everybody helps everybody, poor economic base because all the resources are owned by the country. Okay, and society is controlled by the NKVD, that is a secret police. And war before the war means here, the Cold War had already begun. Okay, the main underlying cause of the Cold War was already there when communism started in Russia, when communism had already started, okay, in the beginning. Okay, and that was in 1917 when you have the Bolshevik Revolution that started. So war before the war, the Bolsheviks 1919, that is breaking of the Tsardom, if you remember. Okay, the Russian Revolution, right? Okay, so then war before the war, and so that's how you have your Lenin's rule. Okay, then but the capitalistic United States refused to recognize okay, the seeds of hostility that was there, mistrust, mutual distrust between United and USSR began actually near end of the World War I. On it had already begun. Okay, then America had depicted the Soviet Union as almost the devil incarnate, and so did that. So that was how your mutual distrust had begun. The friendship was only for namesake, okay, of the big three, the US, USSR, and your Britain. US and USSR had fought as allies during the World War II. We all know that. Okay, and their relationship after the World War had become firm, and after the war would be firm and friendly. That was expected, but this never happened. Okay, because of their ideologies, they professed on, that is capitalism and communism. Okay, so here you have the causes. There are many causes of World War II. Of Cold War, but the most important one you have is your ideologies. Okay, then you have rebuilding Europe, Truman Doctrine. Okay, that was the economic aid that was the economic aid that was started by your economic aid that was started by your Harry S. Truman. Okay, the Prime Minister of the President of America. Then European Recovery Program is also an economic extension of the Truman Doctrine. Marshall Plan was also the economic extension. Okay, and this is how Soviet troops occupied Eastern Europe, as I said, all those part of Czechoslovakia, Yugoslavia, okay, Poland, okay, all these countries. And the Iron Curtain, that was then once the Czechoslovakia, okay, was occupied by Russia, the Iron Curtain, that means the Europe was totally divided into Eastern and Western bloc. Okay, the Western bloc under your France, US and Britain, and US and USSR occupied the Eastern Europe. Okay, so major leaders at the beginning, as I already said, there's a big three at the Yalta Conference. Okay, and this is one of the last wartime allies that has been shown here. Okay, Yalta Conference, Winston Churchill, Franklin D. Roosevelt, and Joseph Stalin. Okay, Russian leader Franklin Delano Roosevelt, US president. Okay, so you have here, so leaders of the Cold War, USA, USSR and China, and this is till 1991, till the final disintegration of USSR. Okay, disintegration meaning breaking, okay, of your into 19 independent states, because we had seen Union of Soviet okay, means what? The grouping, okay, togetherness of all those the industrial workers, okay, that is how the union was formed, okay, and that was the concept of how the union, different state had come together, and that's how it was known as together of all the states of Russia, and therefore it is known as USSR. But after the breaking of USSR into 17 independent states, after your 1991, okay, then we do not call it as USSR, okay, call as Russia, okay. uh, then you have the leaders here: US 1945, Roosevelt and Truman of USA. Then USSR, you have Stalin, okay. Then USA again, 1953, Eisenhower, okay. 1961 to 63, Kennedy, Johnson. Then 69, you have Nixon. So this US president plays a very important role in Cold War, because President Roosevelt and Truman, okay, they had initiated your Yalta and the Potsdam conference, okay, and the situation between these two countries were not so tense there. Then the time of Eisenhower and Kennedy, Johnson and Nixon, okay, it becomes a little tense, because at this time we have all the wars, like the Vietnam War, where America takes part in the proxy war in Vietnam, and that is one of the deadliest war, okay, fought, okay, during the Cold War era, okay. Then you have the Cuban Missile Crisis, all those, okay, and these are all the leading causes of your Cold War, okay, children. So we have to do that all in details. Then from Ford, Carter and Reagan and Bush, okay, we have a little kind of come to a conciliatory approach, okay, towards USSR, because that was taken by then, as Stalin, we'd already seen the Iron Man, okay, had, and started before that Lenin, okay, then Stalin, who very importantly started their the communist philosophy. Then after Khrushchev, okay, Nikita Khrushchev, he started the conciliatory approach towards your USA, and that's how, okay, they started becoming, the Cold War coming to a thaw. You can see during Nikita Khrushchev's time. Then you have Brezhnev, okay, then Gorbachev, okay, and at the last 1991 till then we have your Boris Yeltsin, okay. With that we have the disintegration of your USSR, okay, and of course China, Mao Zedong, okay, and then Xi Jinping, okay, Xi Jinping, and Xi Jinping, what is he doing now? A terror in China. Stalin rules, we've already said, okay, because this is the one who started, okay, your communism in the country, a dictatorship and autocratic, okay. So you can say dictator leader, he started here. So you can see the main cause of the communism, okay, and the Cold War had already started in Russia in 1919 itself, okay. So then you have all the peace treaties. Then the Marshall Plan, economic recovery plan, this is all started by George C. Marshall, who was the president of America, and this is all economic aid, as already said, okay, and we all have to do that in details as well, okay. And okay, so here we have, so just go to the explanation, and then you can also go to your Potsdam and the European Potsdam and the Yalta conference from the book itself, children. Just go through it, okay. And from tomorrow I'm going to come back again with more of explanations. Thank you, children.